Hi everybody, welcome back to our garden, or more accurately today, welcome back to our carport. Standing here because this is one of the areas that I'm going to be addressing today. Today's video is kind of a random task video. I've got a few items that I kind of want to get checked off. I don't know how much I'm actually going to be able to get done. It's been super windy all weekend, and it's just now starting to die down a little bit. I've honestly just been even avoiding being outside all weekend because it's just not been fun with all the wind going on. But this is about as good as it's going to get. It's still a little bit breezy, but I want to get out here and get started. I don't know how much I'm going to get to today. I'm just going to kind of film as I go and just kind of see how much I can get accomplished today. In my head, the phrase random tasks is basically what I'm going to be doing, just stuff that needs to get done. And random task just reminds me of this Austin Powers villain from one of the Austin Powers movies. I'm kind of showing my age and my demographic here, but I always thought that guy was kind of funny. Play on this James Bond villain, Odd Job. So yeah, random task was always one of my favorite kind of niche Austin Powers characters. So yeah, that's what pops into my head as I'm working today. All right, so random task number one here is the carport. Like I said, you can see we've just got some things that have just started to accumulate. You know, it's just this carport has kind of turned into our catch-all area because it's, you know, right as we enter the house, when we park the cars right there, and then we often come in right in through that door to the garage. And then so if we're unloading something out of the car, it ends up out here sometimes if it doesn't make it all the way to the house, or if it's supposed to go in the workshop and doesn't make it there. If we take things out of the house that need to go in the workshop for storage, like that little pile right there. You know, the bikes kind of live out here, so they're sheltered a little bit. We've got the rocking chairs out here for the winter time, so they don't get, you know, damaged too much. But they're, you know, we've got some kind of random tools that ended up in some of the carts here, and a bunch of leaves that have blown in, you know, over the last several days. And then, you know, so in addition to, you know, this is also our area that has, you know, some plants that haven't quite found a home yet, and that's useful. But also other stuff kind of does end up accumulating here that needs to be taken care of. All right, so random task number one is done. I think it looks a lot better. I did not spend a lot of time trying to make this perfect. It's just too windy. There's going to be leaves blowing back into here again. So it was not worth trying to make that perfect. But I got a lot of the items that were just kind of sitting around that needed to be addressed out of the way, moved some of the things into the workshop, which is where I'm going next. And so, yeah, for a few minutes of work, you know, totally worth it. Before things, you know, get really bad, and then you have to spend an hour cleaning it instead. One of the things that you guys might have seen me do is kind of brushing or sweeping away these rocks. It doesn't matter what we do, these rocks, I'm not sure why they did it this way, but these rocks that kind of border between the asphalt and the concrete, they inevitably just get pushed onto the carport area here, and as Janey found out, they are a big tripping hazard. But it doesn't matter what we do, they always seem to find their way onto the concrete. I tried to start to dig them out and see what was underneath it, but it's just several inches of rocks and dirt like that, so I can't really just remove it. It'll just be mud, and then it'll leave a dip there too, which isn't isn't ideal because we need to be able to roll carts and so on, and I just don't want to ditch there. So I'm not sure what the solution is, short of, filling it with concrete, which maybe is what we need to do one day. I don't know. But if anybody has ever had a situation like this or has an idea, let me know. But I'm kind of at a loss, other than just trying to keep these things as tidy as possible and keep sweeping them back where they belong. But not great, because I don't need another big accident to happen to either one of us. That would be such a bummer. All right, here is a random task number 2. You can see I did just move some of the things that were from the carport into here that need to be organized and put away. This is our workshop, which we had painted white by Andrew the painter in the fall. Actually, maybe it might have been late summer. We had this painted. I think it looks so great. It looks so much better than it used to. Janey really wanted to get this done, and yeah, this was a great idea. I like this a lot. And then we painted the rack for our bins against the wall there as well, which really allows us to keep things neat and organized in that respect as well. There's probably some things that we could do to make this better, but honestly, I haven't spent a lot of time improving it or trying to improve it, but it's working pretty well. I mean, you can see there's definitely some things kind of built up, but it's so much better than it could have been if we didn't have all of these shelving and hooks and all that in place. I mean, our our workshop before was just a disaster. So this is definitely helping us stay on top of it, even if it's not perfect. But, again, I'm just going to try to spend a few minutes, not trying to make it perfect. There's some things that I'm not sure where the home is going to be. I may not even address those. I'm just going to kind of get the biggest things out of the way and just tidy up a little bit. As for this chariot over here, ignore that. That is part of a tradition at my girls' school that the 6th graders have this big event, and they use these chariots and they throw candy from the chariots, and it's a funny thing. So that'll happen a little bit down the road, but that's what that random thing is there with a gingerbread man on it for some reason. But yeah, anyways, we got that from one of our friends, and we're going to be working on that for this school event. So anyways, let me get started, and we'll see how quickly I can get this place tidied up as well. Okay, random task 2 done. Went and just did a really quick once over, not a deep clean at all. Just had to, blow out the leaves that inevitably accumulate in here because of the wind, tidied up a little bit, got stuff off this table so we can better use that. And generally looks a little bit better. Definitely, I'm not sure what to do with that stuff there organization wise. We'll figure that out, but that wasn't the goal today. The goal was just to do a quick little cleanup, and I think we are in a much better spot than we were yesterday. All right, random task number 3 is this archway here. Actually, this archway here and that archway on the other end as well. The clematis is doing great growing on this. It's really making a lot of progress, and it's looking good. The issue is that we had these things tied together because there's quite a bit of wobble in these guys. And I know that with the wind and all of that, with that much wobble, one of these times, one of these branches is going to break. And it's just not good. We want it to be more stable. And we have some, rebar stakes that we put there to try to support it. But the ties that we used to stabilize everything they just weren't strong enough and they broke. So I've got some good strong wire ties that I'm going to try to use this time to lash these wire lattice to the rebar there. And then we have this piece of rebar here that we actually had. Hi, Monty. We actually had that piece of rebar across the top there to kind of tie them together. And that just fell off, which, that's not good. That's not safe. So that needs to obviously have stronger ties for that too. So I'm going to do that and just see how good and how strong I can make that. Okay, random task 3 done, and I think that is my final task for the day. You can see I got that rebar across the top there, and the same thing on the other arch on the other end. If you come over here now, this is actually pretty solid. This worked really well. That trellis, it really isn't moving anywhere. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised by how solid that made it. But yeah, it's tied into the rebar down there. And then it's got that rebar kind of reinforcing up top. And so I think it's going to be pretty solid. I like it. So I can never seem to get used to these early sunset times in the wintertime. It's crazy. Even though I know it's coming and I know it's going to get dark early, I still look up after working for what seems like a short time, and I'm just like, how is it dark already? But it's about 5 o'clock. It's all the time that I've got. It's going to be dark in just a couple of seconds because the sun has gone down. So that is random task 3 done. I got the carport, kind of tidied up. I got the workshop tidied up, and I got these trellises stabilized and lashed together. And I think that's going to just help things in general a lot. So I'm happy with what I got done. There are definitely some things that I had on my list that I would have liked to do some more, but that's okay. I did pretty good, and Monty is running around like a crazy dog, but that's, I guess, not unusual either. But yeah, so where was I? So yeah, I am just about out of daylight, and I hope you guys all enjoyed this, and I hope you guys have a chance to get in your garden today.